And I'm going to take 30 seconds to just thank BPI. This is my first BPI summit, and I'm really impressed with this conference. Everything from the content, the speakers, the 5K run organized by Gigi, and little things like having coffee and water available. So I just wanted to give a shout out to BPI and Compost Now for organizing such a small but mighty event. So I'm with Compost Crew. For those of you who don't know, Compost Crew is based in the Washington, D.C. metro region. We serve Maryland, D.C., and Virginia. My background is, actually the session yesterday on the capital structure was relevant. I started my career in renewable energy based in emerging markets. So I helped start solar and wind power projects in India and other countries. And I specialized in project finance at first and then started running operations. One of the reasons I got out of that and into recycling and composting is I realized that with renewable energy, we were building more and more supply for never-ending human consumption. And I wanted to try to figure out how can we use the existing resources that we have to do good. And that led me to composting and then Compost Crew. So when I found Compost, we had sold our company in 2017 and I left in 2018. And I found Compost Crew and they had some traction, but then they started to struggle and they needed some help, and through networking I found them. One of the things that attracted me in particular to Compost Crew is that they did have a small municipal curbside collection contract. So one of the first examples of a public-private partnership in the DC region. And that reinforces what the session yesterday was talking about, which is when a municipality provides a revenue contract to a private business that can attract capital providers. It does two things. One, it shows that the company has cash flow, but then also it gives comfort for the capital provider to come in and lend money, which then becomes a virtuous cycle. So the company was founded in 2011. Now we're serving over 22,000 customers, and the revenue is about half commercial, half residential. It started out just as a hauler, but then it started, in 2020, we invented, along with Benny Ares from EcoCity Farms, many of you may know him, luminary in the compost industry, if you don't. We invented the Compost Outpost, which is a modular on-farm or on-municipal site composting system that can serve 500 to 1,000 homes. And so what we do is that we bring a couple routes there, process it in an enclosed ASP system, and then we either distribute that finished compost back to the farm or to the municipality if it's a municipal partnership. So one really cool case study here is of the city of Greenbelt. And so this was multiple parties involved in this public-private partnership. The city itself, USDA got involved, a local church. So Greenbelt had no curbside collection program. It also had no processing. One backdrop about the DC region is that there is one big county processing site that has allowed a lot of composting to get started in the region. And so there's one in Maryland, there's another public-private partnership in Virginia, and then a bigger site up anaerobic digester near Baltimore. And so there's no existential threat for cities or haulers who are starting composting programs. They have a diversity of places to take it to. So that means that if one is full or one is shut down, you can go to another one. And so we weren't trying to solve a problem of there's nowhere to take it to where we need to build processing capacity. We were trying to solve a problem of how can we make the processing as close as possible to where the waste generation is. And then we were also trying to solve the problem of how can we make it as visible as possible. So one of the things that really is exciting to me about food waste recycling and composting is it is the one type of material where you can actually show where the waste is coming from and then show what it's turning into in the same place. You can't do that with glass, you can't do that with metal, you can't do that with plastic, but food, you can do it in your backyard, you can do it in the backyard of a community. And so that was what we were trying to show with these compost outpost partnerships. So what we did with Greenbelt is we found vacant land that was owned by a church. It was basically being used as a dump. There was tires, there was trash, there was all kinds of rubble around there. We cleaned it up, built our compost outpost there, launched the curbside collection program, and now we're hauling the food scraps about 5 minutes away, processing the compost, returning that back to the city. So it's pretty much as tight of a loop as you can possibly get for a food waste recycling program. There's other examples that we have as well. So we have collections only, like with the city of College Park. We have processing only, like with Fairfax County. So they have a transfer station where we built an outpost and we take some of the wood chips and yard waste that they get delivered. They have a drop-off program where we mix the food scraps from the drop-off program with the wood chips that they already have, make the compost right there. Again, another example of making it as visible and closed loop as possible. And then Watkins is another great example of a visible public-private partnership that was, again, supported by USDA. The Prince George's County and the local park system launched a incubator farm in partnership with EcoCity Farms, which is, I mentioned that where Benny Ayres used to be there. We, at the same time, launched a curbside collection program for now 3 towns where we're hauling the food scraps about 5 minutes away. We're processing the food scraps from the nearby towns on the farm. The compost then goes to the beginning farmers, where all of these farmers who are starting a business have a plot, an 1 acre plot of land, using the compost, which helps their farming business thrive, and then it's another virtuous cycle that is really exciting case study. I'll do 30 seconds of just one on the financial side of things. DC was hit harder than most areas by a lot of the federal layoffs, which in turn is now impacting the municipal budgets because of the local taxpayers. So one of our public-private partnerships has been particularly hit by that because the municipality has had to cut back its budget significantly. So what was a fully subsidized curbside collection program is now a partially subsidized curbside collection program. And so we did lose some customers from that. We also had to figure out a way where they actually purchased the compost outpost and the composting equipment up front while we were operating it. To help them out with their budget, we figured out a way to buy it back from them and then amortize that over a few years through the curbside collection program. So we had to figure out a creative way to work with the municipality to help them out with their budget so that we could make this a sustainable project rather than something that they felt was a burden to their budget and they wanted to cut. So just one example of various.
Thanks.
I'll hand it over for questions now.
Yeah.